Spurs could battle Premier League rivals for Real Madrid player. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. Before we dive into this update, be sure to press that subscribe button and keep up with all the latest news. Tottenham could get involved in a January transfer tussle with two Premier League clubs who are expected to finish in and around them in the table. It has emerged that Tottenham are now following Real Madrid's versatile young attacker Arda Guler, who has struggled to make the expected impact at the Spanish capital since his move from Fenerbahce last year. According to TBR Football, the La Liga giants rejected plenty of advances for the youngster in the summer, but are now expected to be inundated with offers once again in January. Tottenham are thought to be one of the clubs currently at the front of the queue for the Turkey international as they look to bolster their attack. TBR Football reveal that Aston Villa and Newcastle are also big fans of Guler, with the two clubs potentially set to get involved in a tussle with Tottenham for the youngster's signature. The Turkey international is said to be frustrated by his lack of game at the Santiago Bernabeu, thus potentially opening the door for the Premier League trio to swoop for the player. The report explains that Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City and Manchester United were also keeping tabs on the 20-year-old prior to his switch to Madrid. However, there is no information provided on whether any of these sides could now rekindle their interest in the attacker. It is revealed that Los Blancos see Guler as a top talent and therefore have no intention of letting the Turkish wonderkid depart on a permanent basis. However, Carlo Ancelotti's men are said to be aware of the youngster's desire for game time and are thus open to sanctioning a loan move in January. One would assume that Madrid's stance might put off Spurs, who do not tend to make loan signings without an option to buy attached to the deal. Tottenham have been informed that they will have to pay an eye-watering fee to sign an exciting young winger they are keen on. Borussia Dortmund's Jamie Gittens is catching the eye of many clubs in the Premier League at the start of the season. It looks like he could be the latest English starlet to make a big money move away from the Bundesliga giants. A number of reports over the last week have revealed that the 20-year-old is on Tottenham's radar ahead of the January window. Football Insider even suggested a few days ago that the youngster is seen as a good fit for Ange Postecoglou's project at N17. Bild have now become the latest outlet to back up Spurs' interest in the Dortmund man, claiming that the Lily-Whites are keen on securing his services. They claim that Tottenham's biggest competitors for Gittens could be London rivals, Chelsea, with both clubs having sent scouts to watch the winger in action this season. However, the publication adds that Dortmund have made it clear to these clubs that they would have to pay a whopping £83 million if they want to prize the former Man City youngster away from Westfalenstadion. We know that Dortmund tend to drive a hard bargain, and one would expect the German club to stick to their guns and demand a huge fee for Gittens. While one can understand why Spurs see the winger as a good fit for their project, Postecoglou's men are not going to get involved in a bidding war with Chelsea or other Premier League sides for the youngster. When going for young, up-and-coming players, we know that Tottenham tend to do their shopping in the £20 million to £40 million range. While Brennan Johnson was an exception to that rule, he was already proven in the Premier League when the club bought him. Brian King has been left fuming after recent transfer speculation surrounding Tottenham centre-back Radu Drasin. The ex-Spurs scout claims the Romanian knew exactly what he was signing up for when he joined Tottenham. As reported by the Sunday Mirror, Napoli are one of several Italian sides interested in Drasin. However, the defender is not thought to be considering forcing a move away in January. Nonetheless, his agent has refused to rule out a transfer down the line. Florian Manea told Calcio Napoli 24, "We like that many teams are following him, but I also told the others who called me that, to date, we are not interested. No player is happy if he doesn't play a lot, but he wants to fight for his place. We'll see later how many games he plays and we'll evaluate. At this moment, it's premature to think about a transfer." And King, speaking exclusively to Tottenham News, isn't happy with these comments. When he signed for Spurs, he and his agent knew he wasn't going to be a regular, King said. He was brought in as a squad player. One of the defenders in front of him is a World Cup winner. The other is as quick a defender as you've seen anywhere. Both of them are full internationals. Therefore, Drasin and his agent would have known he wasn't coming to Tottenham to be a first-choice centre-back. If they didn't know that, it was a bad move for the player. I'd imagine the money the agent got and the money the player is on is good. As a result, this angers me a little bit, because they knew what the situation was when he signed for the football club. Drasin was coming in as cover, with the potential that one of the other defenders might be moved on. However, that is it. Therefore, don't start kicking up a fuss. He hasn't even been there for a year yet, and there is already all this speculation. The only way he will get into the side is if there's an injury or someone has a dip in form. For now, get on with the job. Remember what you signed up for? He's a Tottenham player and ought to remember who he is representing. It is understandable that Drasin would be unhappy with a lack of playing time. However, some of that is partly his fault. He is still only 22 years old. Therefore, he must remain patient and bide his time in North London. In fairness to Manea, he did suggest that his client isn't interested in a move away at this point. However, he then also went on to suggest they will evaluate the situation based on how many games Drasin plays, which is an unhelpful comment as it puts pressure on Ange Postecoglou. Rather than his agent doing the talking off the pitch, Drasin should instead focus on making an impression when he does play and trying to force himself into the team. Tottenham will be boosting the coffers of Manchester City if they advance on their reported interest in an up-and-coming Premier League star. Spurs have reportedly been impressed with the start that Liam Delap has made to his spell at Ipswich Town since his move from Manchester City in the summer. It was reported a couple of days ago by Court Offside that the Lilywhites are one of 4 Premier League clubs who have expressed interest in the 21-year-old alongside Arsenal, Newcastle and Aston Villa. It was alleged that Tottenham were leading the race for the striker and that Ipswich would consider selling the youngster for around £33 million. The Express have now also reported on Tottenham's interest in delay, explaining that Ange Postecoglou's men are plotting a move for the striker in January. They point out that when City agreed to sell their academy graduate for a deal worth £20 million, including add-ons in the summer, they also added a 20% sell-on clause to the agreement. That means that should Tottenham pay £33 million to sign Delap from Ipswich in January, around £6 million of that fee will go to Pep Guardiola's side. Delap is undoubtedly a good fit for the profile of players Spurs have tended to sign under Postecoglou, given the striker's age as well as his physical and technical attributes. The reported fee is also not exorbitant, given that we are talking about a young English player with a high ceiling. However, the decision might come down to whether Richarlison can remain fit for the next few months. Should the Brazilian pick up another injury, that would likely convince Postecoglou that he cannot rely on the former Everton man and thus enter the market for a centre-forward. That's all for today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with all things Tottenham, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications on our latest content. Don't forget to like this video and share it with fellow Spurs supporters. Let's grow our Tottenham News Today community together. Thanks for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs!